What if I told you that I knew a man who lived in Poland during the invasion of the Nazis, who lost his mother, his brother, and his father, was hit by a truck, and could only work small paid jobs because the university he attended was forcefully closed? This man faced all his hardships by the age of 21. Now, what if I told you that you too knew who this man was? You see, despite all the hardships, he went on to become one of the 20th century's most beloved Catholics. His name was Karl Wojtyła, or more commonly known as Pope John Paul II. He was a very influential man and contributed greatly to society. The three main points stick out in his life: his journeys, the relationships he made with other religions, and the political changes that came from his influence. Pope John Paul visited more countries and traveled more than any other pope. He visited 126 countries. Through these travels, he accomplished a lot of things that were never done by popes. For example, through all these travels to all these different countries, he strengthened Catholics and non-Catholics alike. Through that, he became a beloved pope. He traveled to places like the West Wall, places that were oppressed under communism, and even places that were predominantly not even Catholic, like Romania, which was mainly Eastern Orthodox. Now, these places he visited helped improve relations with various religions. He welcomed leaders from different religions with open arms and did many firsts. He visited a synagogue and a mosque. Surprisingly, that is a first for a pope. First pope to visit a synagogue and a mosque. In Judaism, he was the first pope to visit the Western Wall, surprisingly. He even wrote a letter that he put in the Western Wall asking for forgiveness by the Jews for the Catholics for past Catholics' mistakes. He was even blessed by a rabbi. A Catholic pope was blessed by someone of a different religion. That shows how hard he tried to relations and make connections and peace, just like Catholics should do, make peace with one another. Now, he also had relations, political relations. He talked about things from theology all the way to human rights. And the final reason why the man had such a positive contribution to the world is the role he played in peacefully dismantling communism in Central and Eastern Europe. Pope John Paul II was under oppression for a good part of his early life in Poland, first under the Nazis, and then under the Russians, which was not much better, which later consequently made him want to take a trip to Poland, yet dangerous, but brave. There, he strengthened Catholics, told the communists that they would be watched closely by the papacy, and influenced one man and had him start the first and only labor union in the Soviet Union. It was called Solidarity. Now, after a while, the Soviet Union saw Solidarity as a threat to its power. So they plotted to arrest all the top leaders. Now, Pope John Paul II wrote a letter to the Soviet president expressing that he does not do this and the consequences that would happen to the Soviets, because John Paul was obviously for this union that actually let people speak out against communism instead of being oppressed. Now, this letter only delayed the action of the Soviets, but it kept the group together in the end. In 1989, a few Solidarity members won seats in a government election that was semi-free. That's a big step, and John Paul II is credited for keeping that group together. Like I said, and even Mikhail Gorbachev, later that year, came and visited the Pope, and he is quoted as saying it would be impossible to drop the Iron Curtain if it was not for Pope John Paul II. It was truly a great statement to how much he worked with people, how much influence he had. Now, John Paul the Great, which was his title given to him by Catholics, and only one of 4 popes have that title, is truly influential and positively affected the world. A few reasons, but not the only reasons, were the journeys to various places around the world, the relations he made with other religions that greatly helped Catholicism spread peace, and the political changes he made to take Eastern Europe and Central Europe and rid them of communism. This is why Pope John Paul II was truly a great man, and now you know who he is.